Welcome to DWBIADDA channel. Please subscribe for latest training videos.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the playlist on computer vision. In the last lecture, we talked what blurring is, what are different types of blurring that are available to us in Opencv, and we also saw how Gaussian blurring, median blurring, and bilateral filter or bilateral blur is actually different from each other. Uh, we discussed about this actually theoretically, and in the hands-on coding exercise, we saw how to use the Gaussian filter or the Gaussian blur. Now, what we will do is actually we'll be using the median blur and the bilateral blur in this particular coding hands-on exercise. So without wasting much of your time, let's get started. I will go ahead and open up my Jupyter notebook. And my Jupyter notebook, I already have CV2. I will run this code and I will also run this piece of code. And now I want to see what are the parameters that are available to us in median blur. So I will call CV2.median. So you see this median blur appearing over here, and this is the prototype of the function. So as you can see, I have to give an image and I have to give a kernel size over here as well. And this is a multi-channel image and it's processed independently. This is the thing that we have to keep in mind. So what I will do is I will just write image is equal to cv2 dot median blur. I will pass in the image and I will also pass the value of k size to be 5 over here, something like this. And now I will call, I will show you what is the output of the image. So I will call cv2.imshow window comma img, and then cv2.wait key. I hope you are absolutely now familiar and comfortable with it, because again we have been doing it for so long now. Destroy all windows, something like this, and you see this out appearing over here. And as you can see, the edges have been preserved over here, which was actually the functionality of the median blur, because it actually used to preserve these edges. So this is how you actually use median blur. Now we'll be having a look at how to use Gaussian blur. So for using Gaussian blur, I will again read this image and sorry, we have already used Gaussian blur. So now we will have a combination of Gaussian blur plus median blur, which is the bilateral filter or the bilateral blur. So I will call the bilateral filter method over here and let you know about the prototype, which is we have to give the source of the image. Then we have a parameter which is known as D. We have a parameter which is known as sigma color, and we do have a parameter which is known as space. So if you look at the prototype of the function over here, so you can actually read what these parameters actually say in details. Like d is the diameter of each pixel in the neighborhood that is used for filtering, right? And then we have the sigma color over here. So you can actually see what sigma color tells us, that it's it's filter sigma in the color space. And it tells about all of the what all of these parameters are. You can read more about this from here, but because we are actually having a look at the hands-on exercise and we're doing a practical exercise, what we require is how we can actually implement this function. So I will go ahead and I will actually write img is equal to cv2 dot bilateral filter, and I will pass in the image, and in the parameters which was d, which was the diameter, I will pass in 9, and then I will pass in the parameters of 75 comma 75, the rest two parameters. I have chosen this randomly based on my understanding, so you can actually choose them as well, or you could change them as well and play with it and see what the output actually is. So I will run it over here, and then I will again run this piece of code to show you the output. And this is what the output actually looks like. So it has actually smoothened down your image, because it's a combination of Gaussian blur plus median blur, and it preserve edges as well as the low intensity edges actually get filtered out and the high intensity edges actually get stored. So this is how we actually use bilateral filter. So this is what using a bilateral filter is. I hope you now know how to use median blur and bilateral blur, and you have understood what blurring is. With this in mind, I hope you like this lecture and you have learned something interesting and important from it. Let's meet in the next one.